Okay, I hope this video doesn't turn out like complete trash. Hello, I'm gonna regret this.
It's not like they're ignorant.
Comedic point of view. He's more like I think he thinks about deeper things.
I wouldn't say that after the tranny shit. That
true.
is absolutely making a statement.
Yeah, that's
100%.
true.
But then his way of justifying it, I thought was really good.
Yep.
Like they notice certain things and they're respectful.
Style. But fuck Gangnam Style.
And when they're not, they realize it and they, put on a warning. Like they're not obnoxious or rude or mean with their humor, which is another reason why I love them so much, because so many comedians resort to bullying and whatever, and racism and sexism to be like funny. So I like this being a part of that community. It makes me happy. Just know that I love Cody Co, and I absolutely adore Noel Miller, and I wish him all the success in the world because he deserves it.
Okay, this is like my third attempt trying to make this video and I'm getting a little pissed. Hello. I have less than 20 minutes to make this video. So we're gonna try to keep it short, sweet, and simple. My lips are getting a little trapped, my nose is running. Things are not working out in my favor. And I thought this is gonna be like nice and easy, but it is difficult trying to be a YouTuber. And as you can tell from the title, one of the most iconic YouTubers and Viners and whateverers, comedians, whatever, has, unfortunately been exposed for saying the N-word. People's response to this situation has been interesting to gauge on Twitter. I was following it closely. I made a Twitter just to follow this. A lot of his white fans have come out of the woodwork to defend him, which is honestly, I don't know what else anyone could have been expecting. I'm sorry I keep looking at myself and then the camera at myself. I've never done this before, so I'm trying to keep it, So his white fans came out of the woodwork to either, bash people for getting mad at him, or they did the exact opposite and bashed Cody Co. And a lot of people, and then more white people came on board and got mad at the white people who were acting as allies, claiming that, it's just white guilt and they were trying to be white saviors and da-da-da-da. And maybe I'll address that first because that's easier for me to address. I believe in white allies. I believe, as a psychology major, I'm graduating in a couple months. I'm getting my degree in psychology. As someone who has studied prejudice and racism and discrimination closely in multiple different classes, I can say that white guilt is a process of change. It is not the worst thing in the world, so long as it transforms into something productive and not something as a way to make themselves feel better. So this is an online, sort of debate or discussion, so it's hard to gauge whether those people are actively engaging in white guilt in a negative or positive way. So I'm not going to speak on that because I don't know. But my nose is running. I do believe in the power of white allies and people coming together to fight for a common cause, especially since people don't listen to us. People do not listen to Black people. People don't care about us. They ignore us and they leave us behind. And that is the history of this country, unfortunately. And I don't know, that was a lot. I don't know what else to tell anyone. So I don't agree with people saying white people stop trying to defend Black people. No, defend us, help us. If you believe that racism is wrong, if that's what you truly believe, you're not just hopping on a bandwagon like I said, then continue defending us. I appreciate that. Moving on, there were people, like I said, who were bashing people for being offended. A lot of white men and white women came out the woodwork to say that it's just a word, it doesn't matter. A lot of people were like, why can't we say it? That always comes up, doesn't it? And this is why situations like these are so difficult, because whether or not you intend them to, they incite the bigotry. They incite the ignorance to come about. They encourage people to now, oh, he said it, now I can say it. Shit like that happens. And when they said the N-word, or when Cody said it, as a matter of fact, my heart dropped. I felt so uncomfortable in my own skin, and I don't know how to describe that feeling. I felt like I can't describe it in a way that would make sense or that you could understand as a white person, because no matter what anyone will ever do to you, you will never feel the way a black person feels when they are called the N-word, when they are the object of a joke. I'm doing a terrible job at explaining this, but I'm basically saying the N-word is not a joke to a lot of people. It's not something funny because you're representing, that word represents a people in a derogatory manner. And so when you make that word a joke, what are you saying about the people that it's aimed at, you know? And it's also, to answer people's questions about why can't I say it, the simplest way I can put it is some people find that using a racial slur and being comfortable with it is internalized form of racism. So when black people say that it's okay to use it and they don't care about it and da-da-da-da, more often than not, and I see a lot of black men who was on these Twitter threads saying shit like that, more often than not, they're not comfortable in their own skin and they are experiencing a form of internalized racism where they believe or they feed into the idea that white is superior, and therefore they don't care that their white friends or that their white idols are using the N-word because they don't care for themselves. They're not that, you know, attuned to their skin color, or they're not that into it, you know, like it doesn't matter to me. Your identity doesn't matter to you, because race matters in this country. No matter how you try to flip it, switch it, whatever, it matters in this country. And when you are black, that shit matters. It's like you can't avoid that. I have 10 minutes. Wow, this is getting crazy. Or some people use the N-word as a way to reclaim it, just like bitch and cunt used against the female race, or F slur used against the homosexual homosexual group of people. They reclaim those words. So like, if a man calls me out my name and calls me a bitch or a cunt, and I don't know you like that, you're not in my social group and you're not my female, like you're not my friend, I'm gonna take offense to that because that's not my name. And that's the simplest way I can put it. Some people reclaim the word and some people are experiencing a form of internalized racism, and some people don't like it at all. Regardless, it is up to that group to figure out what to do with that word and not up to you. And that's the best way I can put it. I don't know how else to say it. And this kind of ties into the T slur. I'm not trans, I'm not homosexual. I can't explain how those words make those people feel, but I can sympathize with them and empathize to a certain extent and understand that it is hurtful. It's not my place to tell you or to tell anyone when they can and can't use that word, how they can use it, in what ways can they take that word and be offended by it or not. It's not my place. So I hope that addresses that situation. I made several video diaries on this before, thinking I was gonna post a video about it when it first happened, but I never did. And so I hope that I have explained it better, or in a way that is understandable, because honestly I feel like half the time it's gibberish, like nothing I say makes sense, basically. Moving on to the apology. I understand he did an apology, but it was done poorly. He gives a lot of people shit for having these notepad apologies, and what does he do? He writes a paragraph, a post on Patreon. How ironic is that? And someone, you know, a black Twitter user, a black female, she said like that the apology was insincere, or it was kind of inconsiderate, and how is this supposed to make your black audience feel? Because it makes me feel ostracized. I don't feel comfortable watching his videos anymore. It's been, like I said, a week or so, and I've unsubscribed now because that hurt my feelings just a little bit, that you don't seem to care enough about your black audience and to fully and properly address the situation. If he does, I'll forgive him if I feel like it's genuine, but until then I can't bring myself to fully support him anymore, because I feel betrayed almost. I feel let down, I feel disappointed. I feel like that is not a place for me to go anymore. I don't feel wanted or respected in that community. In his comment section, I feel like it's not a place for me, because people who can be okay with you using the N-word are not real allies. People who don't seem to care about the weight of their words and how they affect people, particularly people of color, black people, are not real allies. They're not people who actually care about racism. And to address the people who say, oh, it's literally, who's still saying it's just the N-word, and, you know, everyone says it, everyone, I can't talk. Everyone makes that mistake. You're wrong. Not everyone makes that mistake. I grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood. I've only been called the N-word once by a little boy. I was not called the N-word by any of like my white friends or something. When you're in a public space and you don't want people to feel ostracized or unsafe in that public domain, that's not fair, because you wouldn't want someone to do that to you, would you? Like, everyone wants to feel okay walking around in public. Isn't that women's whole problem? I don't feel comfortable walking on the street. We don't feel comfortable, you know, being by ourselves, being alone, because we experience violent acts against us. That's the best thing I can say for now. I'm hurt, and to Cody Co, not that anyone is ever gonna watch this video. To Cody Co, I really hope you do a better job at addressing this situation. You were one of my favorite YouTubers, and it hurt my heart just a bit to know that you said the N-word and didn't take it seriously. You addressed the situation poorly, in my personal opinion. And please stop telling me stop telling me I'm soft. And one black person's opinion about something is not the end-all be-all. Stop lumping us into one group, and because one black person said it's okay does not mean it's okay for all black people. Just like how I'm saying it's not okay does not mean that everyone else is gonna fall in line and agree with me. But majority of the people feel like this word is messed up and that you shouldn't have said it. And like I said, when people are okay with white people using the N-word, it's a form of internalized racism. It doesn't matter if, you know, our norms are, you know, directly racist or indirectly racist now, or if it's, you know, more prejudice or whatever. It doesn't matter. Our norms are really not in favor of black people at the moment, and therefore when you are internalizing racism, you are more than likely accepting those views, whether unconsciously or consciously, subconsciously, or whatever. I don't know. I hope what I'm saying makes sense. I really do. I really wanted this video to be like a banger, like I was just spitting facts straight through, and I turned out to be stuttering and fumbling and whatever. I have like 5 minutes left where I have to go to class and I have to print something out.
Okay. This is not even like a thirst. Like, yes, of course, he's cute. Cody is, you know, elderly. Usually when I get obsessed with someone, it's like, okay, sweetie, calm down.
So I don't know if what I said just makes sense. I don't know if anything I say ever makes sense.
Oh my god, there's a whole ass man. There's a whole ass man. I probably gave myself away even more. I hate when people are like around. Go away. That was so fucking gross. Anyway, he's walking away. Okay. You're just gonna have to have this awkward angle up my nose, and I'm gonna be blowing my nose, so the only thing about sis is that I can't tell if she's racist. And it's such a fucking weird thing to say, but when you're black, you really gotta look out for these things. Like, so, and I was looking on Kelsey's page, like on Instagram, I was like scrolling through and I was like, she ain't got no black people on her profile. And I was like, heard you. I was like, I don't know. And then also what made me like, she's racist, was that the fact that she pronounced Zendaya's name Zendaya. I was like, only white people. Oh, no. I'm just a broke ass bitch out here. And I'm gonna be like, listen, mother. My mother is a wholesome Christian black woman, so it's gonna be really awkward to try to explain to her why I'm buying a shirt or a sweatshirt, or why I want a sweatshirt that has a euphemism for small penises. So, euphemism, is that what it's called?
It was not used as malicious intent. Maybe I'll insert something there. Probably not. So, because I don't know how.